Hello, everybody. My name's Shalise. Welcome out, everybody, to my top 4 movies of the MonsterVerse series. The MonsterVerse series started with Godzilla 2014, then we got Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of Monsters, and now King Kong vs. Godzilla, or Godzilla vs. King Kong. Now, which is the worst? Which one's the best? The worst to me is none other than Godzilla King of Monsters. I never been a big fan of monster fights. I never been not monster fight. I'm never a big fan of monster movies. But this one in particular just rubbed me the wrong way. Because we all know the whole point of the entire MonsterVerse series is to set up the humans, have the human storyline so they can set up the fights for the future monster fights. That's basically what it is, because the monsters are just creatures, and the creatures don't have a lot of motivations other than just being creatures. So, what happens with Godzilla in this movie? Well, this after the events of Godzilla the first movie, the human organization decides Monarch decides to basically have this one scientist lady who's been in charge of Monarch. She tries to awaken all the other Titans. So because the reason why Godzilla woke up and all the other Titans woke up is because human beings were getting involved with human climate. They were upsetting the balance of nature. So she believes that in order to save the entire freaking human civilization and the Earth itself, we must destroy everything, and let the Titans destroy everything, including how many humans. This character motivation was so over the top, so stupid. It was just useless. Millie Bobby Brown was wasted in this movie. I didn't really care for the human side of the story. It was just dragging, and I get you had your Godzilla versus the three-headed. I don't know what it was. I forgot what it was called. Because honestly, I could not care for this movie. It was a piss poor. The action scenes were not the greatest. Special effects were not that great. The human side story, again, it was like the most over the tall insulting shit. This one, like, not the best way to compare King Kong, not King Kong, but Godzilla for King of Monsters is this. Godzilla King of Monsters is like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and Godzilla the first movie is like Lost World or Lost World Jurassic Park. There's a major difference with how people approach things. This was just too comical. I'm sorry, Godzilla King of Monsters, not a good film. D plus, C minus. I don't know. It's sometimes it's okay with me. Sometimes it's just eh. So yeah, Godzilla King of Monsters, the worst. Number 4. Number 3, I'm gonna give it to original Godzilla. I actually enjoyed this original Godzilla. I like the whole beginning, how they say about Godzilla, the reason why, like they go into the history of Godzilla, what his role is, what his role as a Titan, and what's the whole thing of like with the humans, how they tried to kill Godzilla back in the 40s or the 50s with the whole nuclear testing sites. What this movie's really about is Bryan Cranston lost his wife. The government denies what happens. He tries to figure out the truth, and that goes for the good 30-40 minutes. And because of this situation, he doesn't have a good relationship with his son. He dies halfway throughout the movie, and then his son is just a military dude trying to stop these monsters from destroying the entire world. This movie was entertaining. It's a good time. It's not the greatest movies of all time, but it was a good start, and it actually had. I like the special effects. I like how they made Godzilla look. I like Bryan Cranston's character when he was there, but for the most part, after Bryan Cranston goes, the movie goes. So we see Godzilla for the final time, just fighting the monsters. There was no point for the rest of the movie, honestly. It's not because of Aaron Taylor Johnson's fault. It's just the character wasn't strong enough. You should just kept Bryan Cranston along and him still trying to bond with his son, or him and his son just trying to like fix things up. You need to have a star bar to continue the story, and they decide to make the worst decision by killing Bryan Cranston's character off. So Godzilla the movie, B minus. Don't hate it, don't love it, but just I actually enjoyed parts of it. So Godzilla the movie 2014, B minus. Number 2 is Godzilla vs. King Kong, or King Kong vs. Godzilla. This was an entertaining monster fight. This is some entertaining monster fight with some actual storylines and mythology about how King Kong, how Skull Island is no longer stabilized, and now King Kong needs to go back to the place. He has to go back to the place where everything's going to be better for him. Is go back to his origin of where his ancestors lived, and he's going to have to go home. He has this nice, beautiful relationship with this one girl from the planet of Skull Island. They into more the mythology of like King Kong, Godzilla's past. So that's some good stuff right there. They have Godzilla and King Kong fight each other, obviously. There's some good action scenes. The special effects are well done. The human characters don't feel unrealistic. They don't feel totally stupid. This is not insulting my intelligence like Godzilla King of Monsters. This was actually a pretty much straightforward story. Character's motivation makes sense on all sides. Millie Bobby Brown's returns. Overall, I enjoyed this movie. For the most part, it's a solid movie. It did nothing to overly wow me, but I had a good time watching it. So the latest movie, Godzilla vs. King Kong, King Kong vs. Godzilla, was an entertaining film. Not my favorite, but it's a B. Next up will have to be Kong Skull Island. Number 1 is my Kong Skull Island. You know what makes Kong Skull Island interesting? The fact is that during this time in Vietnam, Samuel Jackson's character, he has to go to help these monarch people and to transport them to the island of Skull Island. During Skull Island, again, you got a lot of interesting stuff because you're interested in this island, interested in the creatures around there. Immediately when they get there, a lot of them get killed off, and Samuel Jackson's on the warpath during this time for the Vietnam, they're abandoning Vietnam. They're leaving it. They lost the war. So Samuel Jackson's character, he's war hungry. He still wants to have that last good fight. He wants to fight King Kong for the vengeance of his men. There's a lot of understandable stuff with this movie. I really did enjoy a lot of the action scenes. The storyline for a lot of characters, character motivations make sense. And overall, it was just a lot more entertaining and a lot more good time and a lot more good fun with Kong Skull Island. The mythology was nice. The characters were nice. There's not much I could say other than Kong Skull Island to me is the better of the whole MonsterVerse movies. And the fact that it was take place in Vietnam, they made it look like Vietnam, they made the soundtrack like that. Overall, it just felt like a period piece, and I really did enjoy Kong Skull Island. So Kong Skull Island, my number 1, it's a B+ for me. It's a pretty dang good film, but not overall the best. But what's your personal opinion, everybody? You think the King Kong... you think King Kong versus Godzilla or Godzilla versus King Kong should be number 1? You think Godzilla King of Monsters should have been the worst of the bunch? You think it should have been at the top? What's your all personal opinion, everybody? My name's Elise. I offered everybody. Bye.